All right, welcome back, everyone. It is LaughNgamez here. It's time for another one of these StarCraft 2 AlphaStar videos. Every other day on the channel is AlphaStar Day. It's like a holiday every second day. And, yeah, so we're going to be having ourselves a Terran versus Protoss today. AlphaStar, the robot, going to be playing the human, as bass-ackwards as that is. And, yeah, let's just take a look here and see how this game is going to go between the two of them. TVP is always fun to watch with AlphaStar. Seeing as how it's playing Terran, it's probably going to make a Banshee if I had to guess. It's just a meme at this point. AlphaStar makes Banshees. That's a fact. Yeah, AlphaStar makes Banshees, and you can't argue with that. And so we're just going to see how this is going to go. And yeah, we'll check it out from there. I mean, I have cast a lot of AlphaStar playing Terran lately, but I just pick a replay at random, whatever I'm feeling like, and see where the game's gonna go. So we'll see what this Masters player is gonna do against AlphaStar's Terran. I mean, it does seem to be pretty good at keeping your opponent down. And then, yeah, we'll see where the game's gonna go from there. Looks like it is going to be a gateway into Cybernetics core for the Protoss with the low ground wall off, just in order to prevent those pesky Reapers getting in as easily. And then gonna be a Nexus behind it. No crazy cheese or anything like that, just the more safe of the option, as Reapers getting into your base is no fun. No matter what race you are, a Reaper showing up in your base, bad time. Reapers, generally not a good thing, whether they're grim or not. Alright, so AlphaStar just doing normal Expo stuff, and then the game gonna go on from there. Making a Marine behind that, and then just sending its Reaper across the map. Barreling it goes with that jetpack propelling it. And yeah, seeing as how we've got ourselves a normal game, and this is probably, let's say, I'm guessing my like 35th AlphaStar cast. Let's go for 35 likes on this video. And it's that's a totally random number, total guess, by the way. I'm not sure how close that is, but it's probably somewhere around there. Maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less. Tough to say. But Reaper going to be getting chased by that Adept. However, it will survive. Protoss player is going to send this Adept across the map because he's going to have a Stalker popping out behind this. Stalker is great at defending things, as they're pretty well rounded up until the Terran gets stimmed bio and whatnot. And who knows, it's AlphaStar, so they might not even ever get stimmed. Adepta's going to shade on in for the Protoss player, just goes right by that Marine, maybe going to try and get this SCV. But, oh no, the SCV actually gets walled outside. He gets abandoned. You left him there to die. As AlphaStar not giving a darn about his SCV, it's also busy microing its Reaper. Hasn't got a kill yet, but is going to spot the Twilight Council, maybe get a kill here. All the while, the Adept still just being a big old pain. Reaper's actually engaging probes. The probes are just fending for themselves, which isn't a good thing. The Protoss player, a little bit late to react, is going to lose his third probe to that Reaper. And ouch, that hurts. I mean, that Reaper was pretty injured at first, and then it jumped into the main base and got itself 3 probes. Nicely done, Mr. Reaper Man. The answer is, if you should fear the Reaper, it is a definite yes. Adept Shade going to be going up that ramp. However, a Cyclone is out. So this Adept, she's going to want to try and hoof it out of there. The Cyclone's going to come on up, probably get a lock on. We'll see if the Stalkers are able to repel it down the ramp, though. Oh, I feel like the Protoss maybe could have got the Cyclone there. That would have been nice. However, AlphaStar does back off after getting that Adept. The Protoss player now got Blink on the way behind this. Blink, Blanc. And then a Robo behind it. So a very normal Blink opening build. My favorite StarCraft 2 build that there is. And then we're going to see where the game's going to go from there. Cloak is on the way for AlphaStar. Followed up by with a Banshee, another Cyclone popping out. Engineering bay is done as well, so it can always throw up turrets or start +1 attack. And there we go, a turret's on the way, so AlphaStar takes no chances. It does not want to be bamboozled by DTs or anything like that. And then the Protoss player is just going to stay on the 2 bases for a while. a little bit longer as he invests in a Forge and a Robo base, so he's going to go for that 2-base Colossus play most likely. The much safer option as far as powering up. Some Protoss will go for the 3rd base beforehand. And then, yeah, let's take a look. Banshee going to be moving on out. And the answer for this, let's see what there is in the main base. There's an Observer out. It might spot the Banshee ahead of time, which would be very important for this Protoss player because there's not a lot to stop the Banshee back here. The Protoss player definitely needs a heads up. However, I think the Banshee is going to narrowly miss that Observer, and that is going to be a big ouch here for the Protoss. He's trying to poke on in with his Blink Stalkers into AlphaStar's main base. That may work out as he's going to get up there. He's going to catch one of the Cyclones, microing the Stalkers well. Gonna get the 2nd Cyclone, so damage getting done on both sides of the map. The Banshee does have Cloak, though. Is the Observer gonna come back to help out? Not yet, as both these players are being tested with their micro. However, AlphaStar seems to be getting the upper hand as this Protoss player not paying attention to his Stalkers. Gonna lose all but 2 of them there as he's busy just trying to defend his base from this harassing Banshee. Looks like the Banshee does get picked off there. However, the fact that he did micro his Stalkers here and lost all of them really hurt for the Protoss. So this is looking good for AlphaStar as AlphaStar is up on the worker count drastically. 50 on 2 bases, a very high amount. And then, yeah, let's take a look. A 3rd base is going to be on the way for the Protoss player. However, he's down on supply. His bases aren't even saturated too well as he's missing workers in the main. Another Banshee is going to be coming in. Of course, this one will be spotted ahead of time, so the Protoss player should be able to react to this. He's going to bring the Observer in too. However, even if the Banshee just gets 1 or 2 probe kills, things are going to get worse and worse here for the Protoss as we take a look. I mean, it's 42 probes to 54, and that number is just getting worse and worse as AlphaStar, the macro machine, is also harassing and bringing his opponent's count down. These Stalkers need to blink to get on top of that Banshee. So far, this Protoss player having a really tough go of it, though, as he's taken on AlphaStar. I know some of you guys say, oh, do you just cast games where AlphaStar loses? No, I just cast any AlphaStar game. Sometimes it seems to be dominating. Sometimes it seems to just be getting its butt handed to it. Stalker's going to blink on in. They're going to try and push away this Banshee. However, the Banshee's still just getting more and more probes. Looks like this Banshee will get cleaned up finally by the Stalkers, but it's a bad position here for the Protoss player. AlphaStar is just going to build up in the siege tank count too, which makes it really scary. There's not a lot Protoss can do to counter siege tanks directly. And AlphaStar just makes a ton. So let's take a look here. AlphaStar eventually will want to get over to its 3rd base to secure that, float that over. All the while the Protoss player looking to poke and prod a little bit. But still, just the economy that AlphaStar has is really, really fantastic. And the Protoss player's economy is not so fantastic. Stalkers hanging out here, however, there's so many Marines out. The AlphaStar just made a ton of Marines, even before it has Combat Shield or Stim Pack just yet. It's going to be getting those upgrades soon, but a ways away from them still. But then look at that, of course, another Banshee harassing at this location. The Stalkers are out of position, so they're just going to run. Oh, this is just an AlphaStar just domination here today, as this Protoss player having himself a real bad time. Probes or 1 Stalker coming to try and help out, but just the worker count, just the army. This is just bad news bears here for the Protoss. The cannon will shoo away the Stalker from this location. Will shoo away the Banshee from this location, pardon me, but it's just going to get more and more probes. Place your bets now. How many probes have died? Let's take a look. 23 probes have died, and that is just bad news there for the Protoss players. He's barely killed anything of AlphaStar's. He's killed 1 SCV this game, and then AlphaStar's just a macro machine behind this, so this is real painful for the Protoss player. He is getting into Disruptors, which definitely are the comeback unit. They can even work versus siege tanks in situations. And I mean, he does have a good count of Colossus, 4 Colossus. Notably, he has actually skipped Extended Thermal Lance, which definitely is a mistake from the Protoss player, as he's now trying to get out Disruptors too, but he's supply blocked. He's just falling to pieces here, and AlphaStar is a big blob of bio. Looking to put the hurt on his opponent. Does this get notified ahead of time? The answer is no, as the Terran's army is moving towards the 3rd base. It is a lot of stim bio here, however, the Colossus should be able to dispatch this as they put out a lot of damage. Disruption Nova actually gets a huge hit on AlphaStar's army there. So this army will get cleaned on up. So a bit of a throwaway from AlphaStar. That was a lot of units to die, a lot of units to the grave, but of course he's still harassing with his Banshees as this is going on. It's just non-stop from the Protoss player. Let's see, Stalkers, or from the Terran player, Stalkers are going to have to get in position to help deal with this too. More Disruptors are on the way for the Protoss, so there's always a chance that AlphaStar will derp out when playing against the Disruptors. But, let's see, that Banshee does indeed go down. Hey, and I just realized that's like a tree and a log up there. That's a tree doing all the way up there. Anyway, yeah, let's just see. More Disruptors on the way for the Protoss player. He's going to try and use these. Definitely the comeback unit. However, pushing into this many Siege Tanks, while doable, will be very, very tough as Disruptors and Siege Tanks have very similar range. There's a chance that the 4th base or something of the Protoss could, or of the Terran could be exposed. But with these Colossus not having extended thermal lens too, they're not going to have as much range to get on top of the Siege Tanks if they need to. And if the Protoss player attacks on in here, he is just dead. There's no way around it. If you attack on into here as the Protoss player, you've got yourself a death wish. Now, Disruptors are going to be looking for some nice connections here, but so far, nothing too nice. Or no connections at all as he's trying to get on in without being shot by Siege Tanks. Taking a look at that production tab, once again, Drilling Claws is on the way for AlphaStar, so we're going to see it make some of them Widow Mines. All the while 2-2 on the way for AlphaStar, so it's going to have an upgrade lead. The Protoss player, or the Terran, yeah, the Protoss player, pardon me, neglecting his upgrades as you don't need upgrades on Disruptors really, as they pretty much just kill everything and don't actually benefit from upgrades. But look at this, the Protoss player actually recalls. He's got 1 Disruptor and a couple of Stalkers that actually missed the boat. However, those units are going to be getting killed off there as the Protoss, he simply recalled to deal with some harassment, and yes, he did deal with it, but he now lost his positioning. He threw away a Disruptor. And the Protoss player is getting up into a lot of additional tech, though. I mean, he is getting up a Dark Shrine, which Warping and DTs can always be good, forcing your opponent to use scans, and if they don't got scans, then they're in trouble. But still, a bit of a tough spot here for the Protoss player. He's trying to tech up, reach every single, reach into pretty much every single tech that he can get, but he's going to have to stop this attack while also dealing with this drop in his main base, and it seems that AlphaStar is just outclassing this Protoss player right now. Disruption Nova's going to go out, going to get a couple of decent connections, pick off a tank, but most of the Protoss army gets completely annihilated by those Siege Tanks. The Protoss player not really paying attention, probably dealing with the counter-harassment there, as AlphaStar just is wrecking this Protoss without a doubt. I mean, he's got a couple of Disruptors out, but he will need hits from God himself, as this is just going to be a bad, bad time here. Liberator harassment being attempted by AlphaStar. The harassment being shut down, but we take a look, it's going to be a 5-base Terran to a 3-base Protoss. And while Disruptors are definitely the comeback unit, it is very, very tough to make them be comebacky enough in order to pick off this much of a Terran army. The Protoss player does have his 4th base, as a matter of fact, done up. He's not mining from it yet, though, so he's going to want to transfer some probes there, and then just really shut down any future harassment. But AlphaStar is just so consistent. Lots of High Templar morphing on in. Psystorm, a very good tool. However, unfortunately, Siege Tanks don't really care about it, and they vastly outrange the spell. So AlphaStar, or the Protoss player, going to have to be careful about attacking on in here. He's going to want to try and get the jump on top of this army if he is going to take a fight. He's got his Disruptors here. He's got his Colossus. Nova goes out. Oh! Almost gets a perfect hit. Gets an alright one still at the end, though. Siege Tank's going to be rolling on up for AlphaStar, potentially just going to lock down this location, and let me tell you, once the Fangs are in, it's going to be tough to get him out, but this could be a good engagement for the Protoss as he's pushing in. A lot of the tanks in a bit of a bad angle, however, the shot's going down. Disruption Nova's going out, Psystorm hitting a lot of the army there. AlphaStar, though, still has plenty here and is looking to push on through. One Marauder dies to a Psystorm, but there's simply not a lot left over for the Protoss as he lost all of his Disruptors, or he's got 1 Disruptor, pardon me, But it's simply so much Terran here pushing on in. AlphaStar wants to end the game, and he's probably going to be able to. This Protoss player, the little engine who could, is just going to be the little engine who died soon, as he doesn't have much of a chance here. The tanks, once they encroach on, like, everything else is manageable, but the tanks themselves really can't be dealt with. There's just so many of them. This Protoss army is going to melt, and I think that's going to be it, as the Protoss player can just barely hang on here, and I mean, he's taking an alright fight here with his Zealots getting in. They don't quite connect with the tanks, though. And so there's just not enough for the Protoss at this stage in the game. AlphaStar doesn't have that much, so he can maybe be repelled while his reinforcements are coming on in, but there's Liberators, tanks, a ton of supply, and medivacs, as a matter of fact. A lot more medivacs than there is bio, as a matter of fact, here. But this is still just such a tough spot for the Protoss. He's going to be moving out looking for a good engagement. However, there's a chance. I mean, he's going to blink forward. If he can pick off the siege tanks, maybe. Okay, this is actually looking a lot more hopeful than I thought it would be. However, he doesn't actually clean up these final 2 siege tanks as he pursued these units across the map and really kind of threw that opportunity there to clean out this army and force the Terran player back. So a bit of a mistake there from the Protoss player, and he's been dead for a long time. He just doesn't know it yet. He's still oversaturated at his 3rd, not mining at his 4th really at all, and as a result, he can't make too many units to reinforce. So yeah, this is just a big old Terran army. Lots of Liberators coming on in, and even though there's just 1 or 2 siege tanks remaining, there's too much Terran. AlphaStar is dragging this one out as he's being very meticulous coming on in now with his mass Liberator. I mean, Liberators can potentially be worked around, but when there's this many Liberators, there's tanks, there's bio, and Vikings underneath it, it is going to be a tall order for the Protoss to deal with this. And is this going to be the final hurrah? Looks like a couple of the Protoss have found safe spots between the Liberators, but not safe from the tanks or the army. And GG, as AlphaStar makes a big old Liberator flower here. And that is going to be it, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks so much for tuning on into this video. If you liked it, press the like button. If you enjoy this content, feel free to subscribe. If you got a Discord and you want an invite, the link for that's in the description below. And then, of course, memberships are on the channel as well, so feel free to check all that out. And I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. This has been LaughNgamez.